Okay, welcome to the weekly share, the Zera Shimshon. I'm doing Parshas Vayikra. I almost forgot because there's a lot of things going on. Everybody welcomes the Pesach cleaning. But I have an idea. We can do it in a very short amount of time. So give everybody a chance to just, catch up on their cleaning work and Shabbos. So here we go. It's actually, it says base Nisan, and it's Tafshin Pei Gimel, the Brias Olam, and it's Erev Shabbos. So I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible. So what do they do for us? What do the Karbonos do for us? Okay. It says, Vayikra Moshe Vayidaber Hashem Elo Me'oya Moed Leimor, and he called to Moshe, and Hashem spoke to him from the tent of meeting, speaking, saying, so when a man, speak to his children of Israel and say to them, when a man among you brings an offering to Hashem. Okay, and he goes through, as we read the Parsha, there's different karbonos for different averas and for different types of averas. And we know that karbonos atone for the sins that a person did unintentionally. It's called a shogeg, okay? Well, it's all well and good that we were able to obtain forgiveness for the inadvertent sins, right, that we did. However, how did that help us regarding to much greater sins, which we did intentionally? B'mezid. Chazal tell us, it's a Rashi in Kiddushin, you can look it up if you want, 31b, that when Bnei Israel sinned, the Beis HaMikdash had to be taken from them as an atonement. Well, on the surface, this is difficult to comprehend. On the one hand, we are being told that Hashem took away the Beis HaMikdash so that the Bnei Israel would be forgiven for their sins. On the other hand, without a Beis HaMikdash, how would they be able to offer karbonos to Hashem to get their sins forgiven? If Hashem wanted his nation to be able to achieve forgiveness, it would seem that he would have left them their Beis HaMikdash so that when they were able to bring karbonos, which, as we know, was the main avenue for forgiveness. Let us try to understand why karbonos are effective only when the avera was done by mistake. When the person sins, this affects his relationship with Hashem and puts a distance between them. The word korban derives from the word krevus, right? Krevus means to be drawn closer. Kariv meant korav is a relative, which is a close relative, right? And it is through a korban that the person does in fact draw closer to Hashem. That is only possible when the sin that he did was done unintentionally, and not because he corrupted his soul by sinning on purpose. Someone who intentionally committed sins will not be able to return to Hashem until he fixes the blemish in his soul. And for such a person, a korban will not help. We have a tradition that initially a person's Yetzer Hara never attempts to maneuver him to transgress a serious avera. But the Yetzer Hara always starts with something small and easy, and only afterward does he drag the person to do the bigger sins. The Ribono Shel Olam gave Bnei Israel the Beis HaMikdash and the karbonos as a gift, as a way to combat the Yetzer Hara the moment he began working on them to commit that initial avera, the one that was not so terrible. And with the korban, they would be able to atone for their actions, and this would help stop them from falling into the Yetzer Hara's trap and committing greater sins, which is what the Yetzer Hara was really aiming for. Being able to offer karbonos in the Beis HaMikdash helped Bnei Israel stem the tide before they crossed the line from doing averas unintentionally to doing them intentionally. At some point, however, Bnei Israel began to sin with no intention of doing tshuva for their actions. It was at that point that their original and unintentional sins began turning into intentional sins. And it was at that point that the karbonos ceased being able to help them anymore. Suddenly, a new way that was needed to achieve forgiveness. It was time for exile. And so the Ribono Shel Olam sent them away from Eretz Israel and into foreign lands where the nations suffered greatly. Now, even if they sinned with intention, Hashem was able to judge them with compassion, since he would be now can attribute their actions on the hardships and pain of being in exile. As the Midrash tells us in the Yalkut Shimoni, Parshas B'Shalach, Remes 2:34, the angel Michael was able to defend the Jewish people who were committing idol worship in Israel by claiming that they were doing it against their will, and only because of the hardship of the slavery. Exile, like Korbanos, is able to bring about forgiveness for the worst sins, even for sins that are done unintentionally, because of the great pain and suffering inherent in a lengthy galus. Korbanos, on the other hand, were meant for the entry level of errors, for those sins that a person had committed by mistake. In such a case, it was the role of the korban to help the person pull himself back from the brink before he went too far. We can learn a very important lesson from this piece of Torah. If a person commits an avera by mistake, he should not, chas v'sholom, console himself by saying it, that's okay, but it was only a shogeg, an unintentional sin. He should make sure to do real tshuva for it immediately, so that he should not find himself committing worse averas or intentional averas, where doing tshuva is much more difficult to achieve. That's the Zera Shimshon in Parshas. Anyway, that's in Parshas Vayikra. This is, but the pasuk. Okay. Anyway, everybody have a wonderful Shabbos. I hope that wasn't too long, and you can be able to listen to the whole thing and bring every time. Everybody knows that certain mitzvahs that we do are preparations for bigger mitzvahs. So cleaning and looking for the chametz is a preparation for eating the matzah and b'te'avon and all the mor and dipping the bitter herbs into the charoses. Anyway, everything should have a wonderful and marvelous Shabbos and prepare for Pesach. Kol tov, bye bye.